after release of this webinar, a lot of cold emailing agencies are going to start going for catering companies.
The cold email part, we're printing leads. Then you go on to scrape certain websites.
You are still doing the same thing. The only thing is you have changed it from door to cold emailing.
Spain, where we booked 50 meetings in 10 days.
From Jack Ma, founder of Alibaba, when he sold his first company, he had 5 million. And the biggest mistake he made after that, he hired all the top guys. But if someone is not paying attention to these leads and they're not closing it, your client is ultimately not making any money and they might cancel from you. Most of the agencies fail because they overcommit.
At least like 1,000 to 5,000 emails to start developing an understanding. Like,
even if I give you the exact copy which I use,
yeah,
you will now get the results which I get. It's
Yeah.
all about how you approach every single client. Of course, you can sell to every business, like even a flower shop needs a website. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Are We Rolling? Have you heard the story of the founder of McDonald's? He went from door to creating an empire. And today's guest also shares a similar story. He was a door to door salesman who later transitioned into running his cold emailing agency, doing the best in Estonia, in Europe. And today we have him here to share his journey and share his experiences so you can learn a thing or two and implement them in your process, in your system. So, welcome, Sander. How's it going so far? How was your vacation? You were in Italy last week, so how did it go?
Yeah, going great. And we're recruiting for a new account executive for email campaigns. And yeah, like lots of interviews, and schedule is full for now. So I hope it will get a little bit calmer soon.
I'm grateful, man. Thank you so much for taking out time to do this from your busy schedule. I really appreciate it. Now, when we first spoke, your journey is very inspiring, and I kind of resonate a lot to people like you, people with not a lot of resources, but yet being able to, do something huge, which you are doing right now. So, yeah, we will talk about cold emailing and all those things. But I heard this, I saw it on your profile. Like, we know, like, when with your journey at Southwestern Advantage, you were among the top 5 salespeople.
Well,
So,
top
tell us a
5%.
little more. Yeah. Yeah. In the top 5%. So,
Yeah.
yeah, tell us some more about that journey, how it was like, and what lessons did you learn, or what things you picked up, and you were consistently among those top 5% people,
Yeah,
sales.
so when I was in college, then I got recruited to do door-to-door sales. I got recruited from here, Eastern Europe, to fly across the pond, like to United States of America, to sell
Crazy.
like educational books door to door. Like, so I guess if you put it like this, it's kind of like a crazy idea. But obviously, like, there's a lot of people who have done it, and a lot of good examples, and also some of my friends had done it, and that's why and a lot of successful people locally who have done it. So I guess that was already 2016, like 9 years ago, and I was really like young and a bit ambitious back then.
What made you sign up for this job? Was it like the fun to travel across the globe, get into the States? Because it's a totally opposite culture. Like if you look at Europe, if you look at United States, people are different. Everything is different. I mean, food and everything. Like I feel in West, people are more like they are always chasing something, whereas in Europe, they are more laid back. They enjoy the life, the best of it. So how was it for you?
So, well, why I went was just like if there was some successful people who had done it, and I was really thinking that this is a really good thing to do in order to have a successful career or life, or learn about sales and how to acquire customers. And actually, I just I was, when I was in college, I just really wanted to be better as a person, just to like form good
Mm,
Apple skills, form great communication skills, like to become a leader or a business owner someday or something like that. That was what I wanted
interesting.
to do. And it seemed to give me the right types of skills. And also like the money part, like there was good potential to make money. Like actually my first summer I made $16,500.
Wow.
Well, that was during the summer. I mean, for back then it was actually like I was really happy about it. That was like a good result.
Yeah, it would feel like a million to you at that time, just right out of college. It's your summer break, you're chilling, and yet you have been able to make $16,000. That's huge, right?
Actually, yeah, a little bit. I would say that it was like, and if you compare it to what people are like, what most people are making here in Eastern Europe, like the
Mhm.
average gross salary is right now it's 1,900 a month, but back then it was probably like 1,500 or something like that. So yeah, it was pretty good. I felt like, oh yeah, I'm doing better than my parents and whatever.
That's good. That's good. While
Mm.
you are selling these educational books, I'm sure like you would have read a lot of books and so yeah, like a lot of books about sales, leadership, how to run a business, how to negotiate. So when you read so many books, you have so much of knowledge. How do you kind of access or tap into this knowledge?
I had this period in my life, basically just when I went to university and got into this student program to go abroad to door-to-door sales. I had this period in my life that I read like 36 books in 1 year, and I think another year I also did like 20 or so, and so it felt like. But if you
Mm-hmm.
say like how much of it do you implement, well, in some sense I would say that you don't. But then again, since I was at the time just like about forming your mindset in some way, that I think it really helped me try to think different, and probably impacted like what kind of decisions I was making in life at that time.
Makes sense. Now, I was asking, is there any specific book which made a major impact on your business or on yourself, and you would recommend it for other people also to read it at least once in their life?
Yeah, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. This is I would title it. Okay, I would have to still title it as one of the books that has impacted me the most. And it doesn't even matter what kind of things are happening in your life, but it matters how you react to those things.
I love the book you have recommended. I would put it more on the category of personal growth, and you did not recommend any business book. And I have noticed this trait in all successful people around me, that they would focus on personal growth. When you personally have that mindset about anything, your health, your money, your wife, anything, it ultimately translate into that relationship.
And let's say if I want to learn about cold email, then obviously then you follow great people on LinkedIn, for example, like you, Moin, or Eric Novoslavsky, or Nick Abraham, or good Enzo Carasso.
Correct. The next question I have is, when you were a door to door salesman, you later transitioned into hiring and recruiting people on sales.
Yeah,
So, what quality do you find similar in those candidates? Like, oh, this person could be a good salesman, or this person could have a great human connection. What was that quality? And you're still hiring for account managers. So maybe you can mention like what exactly makes you move the needle and say yes, like this is the candidate.
just to give some background as well, when I was doing like door-to-door sales in the US, then it's kind of like this, that after the summer you come back and you have this opportunity to become like a student manager and recruit your
Mhm.
own team and coach them and train them and make money on top of that as well. It's pretty like, it's quite like recruiting people 100% commission based job. This is not easy.
True. Very true.
especially if they have to go far away from home, and they have to also like invest in plane tickets and accommodation and visa and stuff like that. So that was a really like experience that taught a lot.
You know, after listening to your background, your overall story, I think you are still doing the same thing. The only thing is you have changed it from door to door to cold emailing. All the values are pretty much similar, all the fundamentals. So
Yeah.
when did you discover cold emailing? Like, like this will help me bring in the scale. And from there, how did you transition into an agency?
That was so in 2020, I think it was COVID-19 hit, and it was actually hard to get visas to go and sell books across the pond. And
Yeah.
so I had recruited a team of 8 people, and we kind of needed to figure out like, okay, so how I'm gonna keep these people warm, or that how I'm gonna teach them about sales and like keep them engaged, and maybe go the next summer to US to sell books. And then we did like a home country selling like gig with this InfoShare. So it's the biggest tech conference in Central Eastern Europe. I think there's like
Mm-hmm.
tens of thousands of people actually going there every year.
Yep.
And we had like opportunity to sell their like basically to sell their tickets to like big companies, like sell a lot of tickets to like big tech
But
companies.
I have a point to add here, Sander. So
Yes.
you are using young people most of the time, maybe they are just out of high school or they are in college or finished college, to sell directly to CEOs and CTOs of top companies.
I had mentors in that program who actually taught me about cold email, like how to really understand the ICP and how to really formulate the good copy on a like deep level, and like understand like what are their actual pain points and how are you actually going to solve those. And then it was just more of, I also learned the email infrastructure and different tools and how to bring it all to life. So that's how I got into cold email. And actually, after that project or during that project, I was so excited about this fact that when I used to do door sales, I did all the cold calls or house calls. I did them all manually myself. And I would, I would knock on doors. Sometimes it's an empty door, or nobody's going to
Yeah.
answer the door. And when I was comparing this to cold email, that I can already find people who are interested and do it at scale,
Yeah.
that was just so exciting to me and felt like, oh my God, like this is the best thing
The
ever.
magic wand.
Yeah, magic wand, exactly. Looking around for like new opportunity. I was
Mhm.
sending my CVs to like 50 companies probably, which like on a local scale, it's a lot actually.
Yeah.
In somewhere else in the world, like US, maybe it's different. But and I didn't find something that really made my eyes shine or would light up my eyes until I had a friend call me like, hey, I just starting a new business that we're like selling web development for companies, and we're just cold calling them, finding companies that want to get a new website. And then I was really skeptical about it because I had just failed in this other project kind of
Mm-hmm.
that no, I don't think it's gonna work, etc. But then we got together, we sat down, and he showed me like I'm a numbers guy. So he showed
Okay.
me like how it would lay out in numbers, and then it actually started to make sense. Like he kind of wrote down like how many cold calls a guy would make, and how many meetings they would get, and how many customers per month they're gonna get. And then he was kind of just multiplying this formula with 10 people working on it and average customer size, etc. And then pretty soon I was like, yeah, I understand this can work. So this was my transition, I guess. And then I just brought my cold email skills that I had learned into
Yeah.
a web development business.
Makes sense. So, to summarize this, you came up with an opportunity where someone was failing to scale their business on the sales side, and it so happened that you were friends and you had already learned this from a failed project, but you still had this learning. So, you
Yeah.
were like, let's bring this on, let's do it together. And that's how the whole cold emailing gig started. I'm assuming that from there, you might have decided to sell this or do this for other web development agencies as well, right?
So actually, I didn't at the time. So, and by the way, like just to bring that out as well, InfoShare, the cold email part, we were printing leads, like that part was good. But just like the thing that we were trying to sell, we were thinking that we're gonna sell like big packages, like a lot of tickets. But
Uh-huh.
since we were just starting out and doing it, then we weren't selling that many tickets per company. And and it was time of COVID, so it was an online
Correct.
conference as well. It was different for sure, but we just really used cold email for our business, and I didn't want to share it with anybody to be honest, because I felt locally, like here in Eastern Europe at least, there's no good cold email experts, and there's no other companies doing it well. Like right now, there's some companies emerging or doing something really, like not a no big players, I would say. And we
Makes sense.
started offering cold email as a service only like a year ago, like in the beginning of
Right.
2024. Like that was a point of time we decided that, hey, we want a new service to offer to our clients. It has to be a recurring revenue service, and we had experience in SEO and also cold email. Like SEO we had already offered, but not
Mm-hmm.
like systemically, or like it just kind of made sense. Like we've seen so much success for ourselves, we knew it's going to work for our customers as well. If we can generate leads in web development, then we can generate leads in any niche.
True, true. So, what are the fundamentals when it comes to picking a client? Like whether you can do something for this client, like can you really make it a success story or not? What are the fundamentals or the benchmarks you look at from your angle? Like as an agency owner, like I can onboard this client, I can definitely bring a change, or maybe I cannot onboard this clients. Like what are those deciding factors for you to evaluate a right customer?
I guess I gotta say that I'm still learning about it, like really. And we were just thinking about it today in a meeting, and we see that customers, like we can get results for a lot of customers, but if they don't have good sales processes,
100%.
yeah, then they're not gonna retain for a long time. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, like a good sign that customer is gonna retain longer and do better is that they have a sales team. I don't know. Let's say they do catering, but for like big events.
Mm-hmm.
So well, even if we have a really good case study, we generated like 50K revenue in 3 months for like a catering company who got like
That's
good contracts, and actually some annual contracts as well. So their lifetime value of these customers is even bigger. But the thing is that TAM was kind of small, and so then we need to find another company and another company.
most of the agencies fail because they overcommit. They say like I'll bring you the appointment or the sale and I'll get the money from that. But we as cold email marketers or lead generation guys, for that example, our job is to generate leads. Once those leads are generated, there should be correct expectation setting with the customer that you need someone to close these leads. I will not be doing it. And sometimes people overcommit and fail because they don't know the business, and it's humanly not possible to get yourself trained on so many verticals and industries. So yeah, Sander, that's a great answer. A lot of value to learn from that. Now, talking about cold emailing, can you tell us like what's important to you when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to list building, when it comes to copywriting? What are the key elements or key factors you pay attention to? Like if this is done right, I don't need to worry about that. So we can start with infrastructure, and like what do you do? What are your best practices with infrastructure? Let's say you have to send 10,000 emails in a month, like 500 on a
Yeah.
daily basis. So what do you look at?
So for us, it really depends on the customer. You see, if the customers have a small total addressable market, we couldn't send that kind of volume. So then it's gonna be a really like low volume campaign. But then again, we're gonna have to maintain a balance that they have to do get results for sure.
Correct.
So in that case, the infrastructure it's pretty simple. You can use a lot of different providers, but let's say Google Workspace, or you can use Inboxlogy, get it from Moin's team.
No, my question is more framed around this. You
Yeah.
highlighted it. Like, if the quantity is not doable, I will focus more on quality. But
Oh
let's
yeah.
say
Oh
that
yeah.
the quantity is good enough.
Oh yeah.
So, what do you look at infrastructure? Like, I will use what provider, how many emails you send, like,
Yeah.
what's your maths over there?
Well, right now we've been using like for customers where we know that we're gonna need a bigger volume. We've been using Maildozo, for example. It's just pretty fast to set up like 40 mailboxes and send like 1,200 emails,
Correct.
and and then like you just hook it up with instantly, and it's just gonna do a lot of the work for you. It's gonna warm everything up. It's just gonna wait for 2-3 weeks, and then you're gonna start slow ramping the campaign, like start sending like 5 emails a day per inbox, and then
Correct.
and obviously when you don't have tools like this, when you're using tools like, let's say, Google Workspace, where you have more flexibility how many emails you can send, sometimes you can also make mistakes. Like if you don't know that you shouldn't send more than
Yeah.
30 emails per inbox, and you shouldn't have like, I don't know, 10 email accounts per domain, usual setup, then usually we have like 4, or well, sometimes we even have 6 emails per domain. But yeah, I think we might change it a bit, because campaigns with bigger volumes, we're seeing that the extra inboxes are not helping.
So to summarize this, it depends on your customer's need. So if the volume is slow, then you always take care of the best practices. If the volume is very high and the customer is in need, you don't care about the certain benchmarks. You might take risk and you might go for more domains, more sending emails. And back of your mind, the thought is there, like you might burn out, but it's okay as long as you're getting the opportunity. So yeah, you experiment with each client differently on
Yeah,
infrastructure.
and I think really important thing to this is like, it's just I'm a numbers guy a little bit, so I
Mhm.
like benchmark things, or we know like what are our averages, like how many emails we usually have to send to generate a lead. But this is
Makes
so
sense.
different in different markets and also in different industries. So I have like a gut feeling upfront when I'm starting to work with a customer, like how many emails we're gonna have to send. But later on, once you're starting the campaigns, then you're actually seeing, okay, so the number is above expected or below expected, and then you adjust accordingly. You either get more volume to send more, or you get more infrastructure to send more emails, or well, it's best to have it already initially, like as a backup, so you can just make a click and you just increase the volume.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. Yeah, moving on. When it comes to target audience, do you have? I know you're a numbers guy, so I'm sure there might be some metrics or some fundamentals which you might have when you're list building. Like even if the target market is, let's say, there are 2 million people you can reach out to, but still you would work on few things. Like these are the ones who are more likely to convert better based on your experience. So, how do you approach list building? Let's take an
Mm.
example. Another web development company in France is signing up and they want people from all over the Europe. So of course you can sell to every business, like even a flower shop needs a website. But how do you approach list building?
Yeah, I think I have an answer to this. Like, usually it's best to start where your customer has the biggest wins. So let's say that they have a really good case study of like, let's say, a website or like software that they developed for, I don't know, a travel agency. Then it's just you're looking for like the first priority should be the local travel agencies, because
Makes sense.
you're kind of like the guy across the street for them. It's you can meet them in person physically. That's like level 0. It's easiest to generate leads within those, and then you start going further. And then, well, then it's more like a volume game because people don't have this
Yeah.
locality based trust anymore. So if you're looking for potential investors and you want
Mm-hmm.
to sell them like real estate investments, then where do they potentially gather? And there's we are currently having fun with scraping some Facebook groups, then
Mm-hmm.
enriching those for emails. And yeah, like this is right now working well. And sometimes, like, let's say that if you need to do cold outbound for B2B SaaS that offers a management tool for like support groups, like for anonymous
Uh-huh.
alcoholics, for example. So where do you find these support groups and their hosts? Then you go on to scrape certain websites where you can find them, or some Facebook groups. And yeah, like, or in some case, like, let's say you're running for a recruitment agency, then you're just scraping all the job listings from LinkedIn and the local websites, and
Correct.
company find like you get the company name. Based on that, you find the domain, their emails, and everything you need.
That's amazing. And I believe you have employed an in-house team to do this entire workflow for you. Or do you
Yeah.
also use automation or softwares like Clay?
Yeah. So by the way, I personally, like, I have rarely touched campaigns for the last few months. Like, okay, sometimes I still like, or I mean, I every day I log into instantly and I want to see how they're doing, but like I couldn't do all of it on my own. So right now in
True.
our email team, we have 6 people.
Amazing. I had this thought very early in my life itself when I was venturing out. Like you can't yes, you can solve a problem on your own, but you cannot scale it without having a co-founder, without having a team. So I think you can get up to like 50K, 100K mark. But beyond that point, you need someone, or you are like literally giving up on your personal life and you become a slave to your business.
Yeah.
So that is very true. You need a team.
I
Yeah.
wanted to add that recently, really, like, the life of a founder, guy that's starting a business, for the first few years, you're wearing so many different hats. You have to, like, whenever there's something that needs to be done, if you haven't had a chance to recruit or hire a person for it yet, then you got to do it on your own.
Correct.
Whether it be cleaning dishes even, or like washing the customer's mug that was left after the meeting, or whatever.
100%.
and and
100%, man.
and you don't have this resource to spend to get this assistant for this and that right away. You just don't,
True.
it just doesn't make sense, but you get it once it does make sense.
It's not an easy game, but of course it's there in the initial years. After a couple of time, when you find the right talent and nurture them to take care of that process, to have that ownership, and also make sure they enjoy the process. It should not be like they're doing it purely for money, because
Yeah.
then they become disposable for founders. But if someone is doing it out of purpose to make their life better, make the customer's life better, bring out the best from the company in the market, then yeah, it actually helps the founders. And I would say this is what I also look for in people. In our team, we have 40 people right now. Some of them never even used a computer, Sander. Can you imagine that? They
Well,
were never exposed to computers. Yeah, they didn't know how to do Excel sheet and all. But today, some of them have matured to a level where they have replaced some of the top talented guys.
well,
That is what it is. Like if you have that drive and you have that curiosity to learn and to do this, and you enjoy loving it, then you can pretty much learn everything and become one of the main guys in the company. So yeah, I always look for people who always have that drive and not just a skill. Because skill, I think, let me give you an example. I can pay someone for that skill on Fiverr and get it
yeah,
done. But here, as a founder, I want to build a team, like a SWAT team who I can depend on for any urgent situation, emergency situation. Now, in those cases, I cannot have the Fiverr guy in my team. I need someone in-house employed, backing me up. And this guy may not have that skill set as a talent on Fiverr, but he's open to learning, and I can nurture him to be that guy for us. And I also watched one video. This is from Jack Ma, founder of Alibaba. When he sold his first company, he had 5 million. And the biggest mistake he made after that, he hired all the top guys to, like top CMOs, top CTOs. He had money. He had 5 million back in the day. It's huge amount. And he was talking about his CMO back then. Like, he asked him to create a marketing plan for his another company, and this guy comes up with a plan which requires a budget of $30 million. And Jack Ma says, like, I only have $5 million. Like, I don't have $30 million to spend on this. How can we do this? So the CMO kind of responded to him like, I've never made a plan for less than $20 million of budget. So it's not a
Mm.
right fit. Sometimes you think, someone who has a skill set is a right fit for you. That's not very true. I feel they should adapt to your culture. They should adapt to your vision, and they should, see what is in best interest of the company. So you expose them to everything and you test them, like how they perform, and gradually, they rise in their position. They take on more from function standpoint, process standpoint. Then moving on to copywriting, what's your process for copywriting? I'm sure, like, you are targeting locals, so you might use something to shine out from your competitors maybe. So that local element is there, but apart from that, like, what are your pillars for content?
Yeah, locality. Well, you can only use it when you have that. Like we don't always have that at our disposal, or it's just not relevant often. I would say that our approach to copywriting is pretty simple. Like I look at it like this: that we have run like hundreds of campaigns, and
Mm-hmm.
we've kind of seen what works and what doesn't. And like generally, like I just want to put together a really good first email which has like a really good opener and subject line to get the person to actually open it, that the person receiving it, like they have to open it no matter what, basically. So that's the goal of the opener and subject line. Then there's the body or the offer kind of. So well, this is something that try to put together with the customer, because like you kind of have to discuss what can they offer and how, or do they have some really good case studies, or can they offer something for free, or can we host a webinar? Like we've been seeing like webinars having like really like lots of success to in terms of
True.
lead generation. Like that's a good lead magnet in our opinion. So yeah, this takes some time and effort. And lastly, like just the call to action. Like what do you want the person to do? Like are we gonna send them more information, or are we gonna go right away for the meeting? Or I mean that's just the main structure of the copy, but there's a lot of philosophy behind actually understanding who are you sending these emails to, and how it would be relevant for them, and what are their actual pain points, and what can you solve.
Makes sense. Which call to action has given you best results? Like, feeding more information and nurturing them to, like, bottom to the of the sales funnel, or directly pushing them at the bottom and asking for a meeting? Which one has worked best for you?
In some case it's just like in some case it just doesn't even make sense to have a meeting. Like just the businesses are different. Then it's just about making an offer for the customer.
Right.
But in some cases, when it's like location based, we have had like so many good examples of this, that like since I'll be in your area this week, then can I also come by your office? So we had a
Mm.
campaign where we booked 50 meetings in 10 days for a customer that basically they offer LED lighting for stores at shopping malls, like cosmetic
Makes sense.
stores, etc. And we booked 51 lighting audit meetings, and it was like kind of like, since we're coming to this mall at this week, so we're doing lighting audits at other stores, so can we also drop by your store? So boom, that was pretty easy.
I like how you have targeted companies who agencies don't really think of. You have a catering store, you have lighting equipment, and personally, I recommend this to people. When someone tells me like what niche should I go for, I tell them like, look around you, man. Just keep your eyes open. There are so many businesses here, and you can target any of those industries and get a client from them, and something which is low friction, easy to sell for people, or not sell but easy to hook them on. Like this lightning audit, I love the idea. Like, this would be so crazy in Dubai. There are so many malls. I
Yeah.
really love this.
Yeah, this is just one of the examples, and of course, like one. You were asking before as well, like how to select the customers. So, well, we right now we're charging 2,000 euros a month. So that's also like kind of like weeding out customers that if they don't have even that kind of budget, then then we shouldn't work for this, probably. And
Makes sense.
from the catering companies as well, don't you don't have to think of them like, oh, these are like really small businesses, or if you can find a good luxury catering company and their average customer is gonna pay them like at least 10K for like
True.
think of it like this way: an event for 100 or 200 people, like per person, it's gonna be at least 50 euros to get like some or catering, so yeah, this
I'm
type
sure after release of this webinar, a lot of cold emailing agencies are going to start going for catering companies.
of catering. Yeah.
I have one question, Sander,
Yeah.
about copywriting. Do you use any tools or it's all manual? Like you manually go ahead, research, or what tools do you use to do it at scale?
So right now, I would say that it's manual work. Like it's well, yeah, we do sometimes use Clay to scrape something from their website to make to make it more relevant,
Mm-hmm.
or sometimes it's about. I would say our approach to this is more like that. We often do like niche segmentation. From one side, it really sucks. Niche segmentation takes time, but if you find the right people, like you put like the same group of people into one list. So let's say we had a campaign where we were running for a sustainability conference. So it's for companies that want to or have to be sustainable, because there's like
Yeah.
environmental requirements and that
Yeah.
are changing every single year. And so we had to find companies who have a sustainability initiative on their website or on their LinkedIn profile. So then you just look for certain keywords on Apollo that you would expect them to have on their profile, like sustainability,
Mm-hmm.
ESG, green energy, renewable
Corporate
energy,
responsibility, all of those. Yeah.
yeah, yada yada yada. And then you put this list together, and it's already like just the list is so relevant. And then this offer, you have like really brief direct offer, that we have this conference and expo booths, and can I send you more information about the event, or can I send you like in the follow-up, can we send you a 2 minute video of the last year's event to see if it's relevant for you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just an example.
So, to become better at copywriting, you would recommend people to experiment more with different variables and see what fits and then double down on it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely that. But yeah, there's just so much information right now around this.
Yeah.
Like, this is like the hardest part of cold email campaigns is like the strategy, in my opinion. Like, how do you put together a good strategy for your customer? So that is basically what is taking care of the whole big picture. That who are we targeting? Where do we find them? How do we personalize it? What kind of data points can we find about these customers
Mm-hmm.
to make this relevant for them? And what is the best offer for them? Yeah, that's a lot of secret sauce.
Yeah, I'm glad that you have been able to share this level of information. And I spoke to Josh last time, and
Hmm.
he mentioned even if I give you the exact copy which I use,
Yeah,
you will never get the results which I get. It's
yeah,
all about how you approach every single client, learn from their business, learn what problems they solve, identify who are the people in problem for whom you can solve their problem, like your client can solve the problem,